Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we bring you the finest singer-songwriters in the Valley area. Today, a very special guest and a longtime friend of mine, Mr. Brent Lindley. Brent, great to finally have you on the show, man. That is awesome. So tell me about yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in Columbus, Georgia at the Medical Center on October 1st. I won't tell you what year, though.
Like 1950 or something.
1970. It's a vampire. I'm very old. 1978. Yeah, it's a good year to be born in. Elvis died a year later, and John Lennon then died a year after that.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on my turn, but hopefully not for about another 50 years at least.
Yeah, we don't want it too close in succession.
But I'm born here, so I'm glad to be back here and doing this show. You know, my roots are here.
Yeah, very much. Speaking of your roots, tell me about your parents. What did they do?
Well, I'm an Army brat. I have a very extensive military background, although I don't look like I would have any affiliation with the military, but yes, I'm from that culture. So I traveled a lot and been around all kinds of people of all diverse backgrounds, and it made me a person of the world, and I'm really proud of that. And it led me back here, which is a military town. Right. So that's been my roots. And I've had a very, very good childhood. And that exposed me to lots of different kind of people, because people from the military are from all over the world. So that's
which also works very well for being a musician, because you run into all kinds of people, and you've already got that where you are used to being around different types of people. That's right.
It's good for networking. Definitely, you learn how to talk and be tolerant, and I love that. So that's that.
Now, did you come from a musical family? Were your parents musical?
My grandfather was a musician. Of course, he was an Italian-American, and they had to work for a living. But yes, he played the violin and the drums.
Nice.
In a city band in Monroe, Michigan. And I got all his genetics. A crazy, crazy artist. Yeah. So, and that's where... So I think genetics has to do a lot with your musical capability, and I got them all from my grandfather. So he had natural rhythm. He could dance. He was a crazy person, and I'm real proud of him. And his humor, everything just came right out in me. So that's where it came from. And he was about the only one that ever did it. But, you know, having to work for a living in those days, in the 40s and the 50s, then he had given it up. But it came through me, through him, although he never taught me music per se. But, you know, so anything cultural came through those genetics, I believe.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So
now, tell me about, as far as you deciding what sparked your interest in music. At what time in your life did you pick up a guitar?
Okay, as early as 3 and 4, I would take all of my stuffed animals. I collected all kinds of tons of teddy bears, and I would make them talk to each other and things like that. Well, I would create rock bands with them.
Nice.
So it's always been in me, and I was always sing the radio. Back on being a musical family, my mother is a DJ. So I knew all kinds of songs. You know, she's been jocking forever, and that got me, and I would memorize all the lyrics. And then when I got older, I wasn't allowed to watch MTV, but I started watching MTV because it intrigued me what these people on stage would do, you know. I always feel like I'm on stage, but these people are on stage. So I'd sneak and watch Guns N' Roses videos, and I'd watch Axl Rose, and I'd get the broomstick, and I'd start dancing like him and singing like him until I got caught, and my sister would laugh at me for doing it. And I knew I belonged on stage. I spent my whole life in detention and bad report cards and getting in trouble, not because I was bad, but because everywhere I was at was a stage, and I was constantly entertaining people. And I didn't know where to place that. Well, then I get older, and then I start having feelings for women. That happens when you're like... I was 14, and I fell in love for the first time and had all this love inside me. Didn't know how to express it. It had to get out. It had to get an outlet. Well, this girl I was in love with at the time started exposing me to all kinds of other music, and I figured, well, if I'm going to score her, I better start learning how to play music. So for my 14th birthday, I asked for a guitar. She moved away, broke my heart, and all that stuff. But I'm going, man, this is really easy. And within 2 and 3 days' time, I was playing adequately. So the guitar came to me and just spoke through me as if it was something was already supposed to be there. It was just completely natural. It was that all meant to be? I guess. I can't say I did consciously choose, but yeah, it's the cliche of, well, how do I get this girl? And then it stuck with me based on that outlet. But I've always been very attracted to the stage and music, and the guitar became my way of life from that point on, age 14. Wow. It's inseparable. There's no not doing it. It's unimaginable. So that's that.
And that seems to be a theme in the show. I believe the Rusty, the chicks and the guitar just seem to just. That's a theme in the show. Yeah.
Not a womanizer.
Guitars attract chicks. Now
they look like one too, right? You know, the curves and stuff.
Oh yeah. Nothing like a nice curvy guitar. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, tell me about some of your education as far as coming along with the music, and you were in the military. So how did that affect your music?
Well, first off, before the military, I was accepted at Columbus State University as a classical guitarist.
Nice.
Because I'm such a busybody, I started finger picking very, very well, and I got into that. My right hand just started. And that was consuming. I had to sit and play, and being hyperactive, and I couldn't hang with that. And I got small town syndrome. I had to get out and explore the world. I enlisted in the Air Force, and I traveled the world, and man, that just deepened my experience as a human being.
Yeah.
The hardships, the maturity, the songwriting I got out of it. Your guitar became my best friend. And I'm still friends with people that I've met on all corners of the planet, and I'm really glad I did that. You know,
yeah.
I really, although I had short hair and no beard and had to follow all kinds of rules and stuff, but I really, really met the most amazing people in the Air Force. And I was proud to serve, and I'm very pro-military, and I think that service members are amazing, although I wasn't cut out for it. I did my 4 and rolled. But yeah, it helped me as a person, definitely.
And what do you think, now the military is obviously full of discipline. Do you think that the discipline that you gained in the military helped with the like focus with the music or anything?
Yes. Oh, you can count on it, because music is a discipline. You've got to sit down, you've got to write a song, and it's determination and drive and teamwork and being able to work well with the person next to you is everything.
Yes.
And the military taught me to not know how to fail. Mm-hmm. You can't make excuses. That's what the military is. There's no excuses, and I take that approach and put it right into music. Mm-hmm. I'm here to do this, and I'm not going to be told no, and I'm going to make it. That's what it instilled into me.
Excellent.
I can't lose. You tell me no, I'm going to find a way in the back door.
The correct approach to music if you want to succeed.
That's exactly right. You're going to succeed. There's no not succeeding. And yes, because when I was in the service, if you said, well, I'm late, or my uniform looks bad, you think that anyone's going to listen to that and say, oh, well.
No.
And so when you go to an industry town like Nashville, Tennessee, where I live, your work can't be subpar, and it can't be cliche, and it's just got to be great. That's what you shoot for, and it instilled that into me. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Although too free of a spirit to make any kind of career out of that. So.
Yeah.
But,
Well, now going back a little bit, and actually kind of leading into going to Nashville, what was your education in music like? How did you learn to play the guitar? And you mentioned the finger picking. Did you, besides the classical guitar that you did, tell me about some of your coming along with the guitar.
Coming along with it, and like how I've progressed.
Progressed. What avenues you took to get to where you are today?
I've always looked for something weird. I've always looked for something different, and I would mimic certain artists that did styles that I was particularly interested in. Mm. I've listened to people who finger pick constantly, and that's where I've watched and learned. My subconscious went after people like that were doing something that hasn't been done before. Or I would study people who were classic, who have made it, and why are these people legends? Why? And I figured that out. You know.
Yeah.
So that's why. I mean, I'm not at a standstill. I'm always trying to innovate, but I've taken a lot less focus off that and become a more conversational songwriter, a storyteller at this age in my life. In my 20s, I was all about trying to be the greatest original guitar player ever, and then in my 30s, I'm looking into quality of vocal tone and conveying a story, imagery, things like that. So that's where it's come along to. Because in Nashville, Tennessee, people are sitting in the audience and they're hanging on what you're saying, and you have to be able to communicate like that when all eyes are on you.
Yeah, and a lot of them.
And they don't really care if you're just a flashy guitar player, even though I have a red guitar.
Yeah.
It doesn't so much matter anymore. But here's the answer to your question, is I wanted to be unique. Now, finger-picking guitar makes you want to be unique, and it draws the listener in, or not necessarily finger-picking, but I want to make sure every single song I have has a definitive riff to it, a guitar piece, a hook that makes the ear go, beep, 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 beep. Whoa, what's that? I got to hear that. A hook is so important like that, you want to make something musically interesting. And that's all, I mean, ever since I watched any form of entertainment my whole life, I have to have something interesting. Even a television show, a book, I want to see something that draws you in and holds your interests, or it's not worth it. And so I started studying unique forms of guitar, unique ways of playing, because it's going to make, out of 100 people, just guitar players, they're going to go zero in on you. The industry is so competitive. You've got to have something that's not being done.
And you got a head start on that because you had that different style for a long time.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. You want to, if you want to make your mark, you've got to have a mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Now, one other question before we go check out one of your songs. When did you write your first song?
My very first song, oh man, it's hard to say. I've written a children's song one time in high school. We'll get into that later. It's called Little Old Mouse, and it was all about a mouse in a house, and the guy trying to get rid of it by getting a cat that chased away the mouse, and this whole cliche of events. Chain of events. The guy ended up. It was bad. So, in 7th grade, there was a really interesting thing. I lived in Clarksville, Tennessee. This is my first song. I'm glad no one's asked me that. So, yeah, okay. I wrote a song called Farmer Bob, He Hates His Job. And it's all about falling in horse crap and the horse kicking him and all these horrible things. It was really a Dick Van Dyke comedy thing that I'd written in 7th grade for my language arts class. And our teacher took us to Nashville, Tennessee, to a studio, and a pro songwriter put music to our lyrics.
Wow.
And he sang Farmer Bob Hates His Job, and I was the proudest 7th grader on earth. So that was my first song I've written. And my first song I've written was my song Ruby, which everyone knows, Ruby Roll the Top Down. And I was 21 years old, and I was in the Air Force. I was stationed in Washington, D.C., and I fell in love with a girl named Ruby. And so that's that. I had that riff, that and then of course me lusting after her put all those lyrics into play. She ended up with the other guy anyway. But it was worth it.
You got a song that people scream for.
Right, but it's just those long, lonely nights in these dormitories on an Air Force base in February, and that's all you have to do. I'm reclusive. I'm very social, but then on the flip side, I go into my mode of creation, and I shut my doors, and I don't come out until I have something. Mm-hmm. And that song was universal. I tapped into a cosmic flow, and there it came. I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. And when you got sexual rhythms like that, it's all you need.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's check out some sexual rhythms, and we'll be right back right after this.
This is my song called Ruby. I hope you dig it. Ruby, roll the top down, 'cause we've got many more miles to drive. Ruby, girl, let your hair down, 'cause I need to feel alive. Now, girl, you're my only ticket home. Yeah, well, you're a doctor to my wound and to my hair you are a comb. Well, life ain't easy, baby, and nothing comes for free. But I pay no mind when you're making love to me. Ruby, roll the top down, 'cause we've got many more miles to try. Your hair down, 'cause I need to feel alive. Now I feel like I got up on the wrong side of the bed. It's like a traffic light that's forever stuck on red. But there's only one plan to get my head out of disarray. Let's put the pedal to the metal, girl, and get on our way. Ruby, roll the top down, 'cause we've got many more miles to drive. Your hair down, 'cause I need to feel alive. Stood up and let down. Well, I'm a broken cup that's spun around. Now my soul's somebody been telling. Help me